Okay, so now we're going to put it all together. We're going to basically create a full content plan from scratch using Ahrefs, an SEO tool, and also using Google itself as kind of a first draft. So the whole idea is that you can basically do this without having to have an SEO tool, but I'm going to show you how effective it is. We're going to basically be putting together everything we learned from the previous lessons and doing it live right here and kind of walking you through it. This is how we start kind of the structure of a content plan. We want to know exactly what types of articles we're going to run. And I know we covered a lot of them: Shoppo articles, new blogs, and knowledge centers. Another one we're missing here is, of course, page refreshes. We would also add those in too if we really wanted to. Then I also wanted to include this column, which we normally don't have, but where are we posting? This is for illustrative purposes. We're posting this to collection pages or to blogs. So again, a knowledge center is a type of blog, but for Shopify, we're going to be putting the knowledge center on the blog itself, just potentially in a separate, blog area. So I wanted to also illustrate really well the versatility of this technique and strategy, because again, we're going to be using the initial results we see from all these different types of pages to help us craft the month 2 strategy. Doesn't mean we can't plan out month 2 ahead of time, and we will, and I'll show you that. But for now, this is why we're going to use this easy to understand 5, 5, and 5 structure. 5 new highly commercial pages, 5 new middle of funnel blog style pages, and then 5 very top of funnel knowledge center style pages, which again are going to be like, what is X? What is a running shoe? Whatever. Back to the running shoe example. But I wanted to choose a product or a company that, one, I really like, and also 2, something that is very versatile. We work with a lot of supplements companies, so this is a great one. We work a lot in the cannabis space because they have extremely competitive playing field because they can't take out ads directly most of the time. Now they can a little bit. So SEO kind of lives and die. And they all live and die by SEO. So we're going to kind of combine all this together and also following that running shoe concept. I'm going to combine all this together to go after a company called Off-Field Gummies. So right there, Off-Field, go to their homepage. Yes, I'm over 21. Boom, Off-Field. They sell these THC, CBD infused electrolyte gummies that are designed for runners. I myself am a running enthusiast and I love these. They're really, really awesome. But let me walk you through here how we're going to basically build this content plan. So again, we're going to do everything we just learned. We're going to use all these same techniques, and we're going to kind of use this main page as kind of like almost like a scratch paper as well, as we're kind of basically creating it. So if we know that their core product is, again, without using Ahrefs, is these like THC gummies, it gives us a really good place to start. It means that we really have to basically be pulling together all these different concepts. Their ideal customer clearly is a runner or an enthusiast or someone that's trying to run. So trying to learn how to run better and effectively, probably for physical fitness. So this kind of has a lot of parallels to the running shoe stuff we've been touching on, but I think it's important to note. So their main topic is, of course, going to be like THC infused running electrolyte gummies. Electrolyte gummies. I can't spell. Don't judge me. Okay, cool. So we know that that's the case. So then there's a lot of core topics underneath this that we can talk about. One is cannabis, of course, or really THC. Another is electrolytes. Slash like fitness supplements. Boom. And then another, of course, is running in general. But there's also 2 levels of running, which I don't know why I said runnings. But just to give you kind of an idea, and the 2 levels are, of course, beginner and then a pro, basically, or athlete. So it seems like they're probably more marketing the beginners because, again, they're basically trying to achieve the runner's high without having to run as far. So I think that's pretty much speaks to the beginner, myself included. So that's a really good place to start. So I think that this is going to be probably one of our core markets. Again, thinking about the running shoes, probably couch to 5K, but we'll get there. And then, of course, like fitness supplements, I think like electrolyte gummies, like existing ones, or actually, no, electrolyte gummies too, but also caffeine gummies, because again, that's kind of a part of it. Cool. So that's probably like a subset. And then for cannabis, it's going to be like probably something along the lines of edibles and working out, potentially, just to kind of get an idea there. And we'll maybe touch on that. But I think really what we need to rank for, because there's a million companies selling edibles and cannabis. So really the main angle that we can achieve the best value here, again, thinking about competitive. So thinking about supply and demand, like the economic side of this, and thinking about keyword search volume and then keyword difficulty. We want to go for the topics that we know we can win and that we know are not hypersaturated. THC, hypersaturated. Even though that's their main product, they could probably and they should market that via their meta ads. But these areas, we can definitely win the long tail keyword play with SEO. So we should really, really focus on these. So I'm going to box these bad boys in. Okay. So, and if we know that is basically where we're starting, this is kind of what we're going to basically begin. So, and we know that the structure of these shoppable articles are usually like X for Y, which means like X being product for Y being benefit. So for example, a good classic, and we're going to start searching this, but this might be like caffeine gummies for runners, something like that, right? Again, they do have caffeine in them, I believe. Let's double check. So I think that they have caffeine. Check them out. And packed with electrolytes, booster, vegan. Does it contain caffeine? Yes, they do. 10 milligrams. Awesome. Through yerba mate. So again, we can talk about that as a knowledge center. So I'm going to pull that organic yerba mate out. I'm going to drop that in here. That could also be a potential knowledge center concept. Just put that over there. Boom. Okay. So let's start basically going down this. Again, we're going to start with Google for a little bit, take a first pass. Then we're going to ultimately switch over to Ahrefs to speed it up. So for Google, let's get started. So we know that they're electrolyte gummies. Let's Google that. Let's do caffeine gummies actually first. Might be easier. So a lot of different products here. Interesting. Okay, boom. Are caffeine gummies safe? How long do they take to kick in? Are caffeine gummies better than energy drinks? This is killer. Look at that. Everyone knows energy drinks has massive search intent. Everyone likes energy drinks. So always comparing and contrasting versus an alternative, especially if you're a newer product, upending or disrupting an area. Like for example, caffeine gummies are kind of upending caffeine drinks, most likely, or energy drinks. So we're going to definitely take that one. And this is going to fit into what category do you think? Drum roll, blog. This is the blog because you're kind of comparing and contrasting, but it's kind of middle of funnel. So actually, let me go back to this one. And so blog, we're going to actually use this one right here. I like that literally exactly. So it's the first one. Are caffeine gummies better than energy drinks? Boom. We got one on the board. Okay, let's keep going. Caffeine pills, don't really care about that too much. Is it bad to take caffeine daily? Okay, I think we got a little bit out of this that we needed to see. Let's type in 4 and let's see what happens. For running, boom, that's a banger. So we know that's it. Are caffeine gummies safe? That's a good one as well. And that's kind of the two main ones. Let's start there. I don't want to touch kids, obviously, because for the main concept that this is a THC product, I don't want to even get anywhere near that. So just be clear. So caffeine gummies for runners. We're going to take that exactly. I think I misspelled it. Let me just double put that in there. Boom. Okay. Caffeine gummies for running. So we'll use Ahrefs to determine which one's better, if it's for runners or for running, but we'll get there in a second. And then the other one I think we saw here was caffeine gummies. Are caffeine gummies safe? And what is that one going to be? Drum roll, drum roll. It could really be a blog or a knowledge center, but I think it fits better in a blog. So we're going to put it in the blog concept here. So are caffeine gummies safe? Question mark. Boom. Cool. Okay. And we got caffeine gummies for running. Let's look at now electrolyte gummies. Let's try that too. Electrolyte gummies for runners, for hiking. That's perfect. But you can see there where runners maybe is more. So we'll do that. Ooh, also best energy chews for running. Oh my God. That's an absolute killer. So let's take both of these. Electrolyte gummies for running. I'm going to put that there. Boom. And that second one, which was best energy chews for running. That's a no-brainer because you could also call these gummies energy chews. I like to start with the shoppable articles because the intent is just so high and it may uncover areas for us to rank higher on these to help boost these bad boys up. So that's kind of a no-brainer. Okay, awesome. The other angle, which we kind of uncovered here about energy drinks, is maybe we can find something where it's like best alternative to energy drinks. Boom. Energy gels, energy bars. Look at that. That's nice. I'm going to take all three of those because we may come back and use more of those later. But for now, I'm just going to use one of them. So best alternative to energy drinks. No brainer. And also we're using kind of like a best. We're using two best articles there. It's perfect for shoppable articles. That will work very well. Okay, for the last one here, let's just go back to their page again one more time. And what are they really talking about? Their main things here is that they're super healthy. They're made for strength training, for recovery, made for endurance. So maybe we also go back to like the energy gel concept potentially. Let me just look and say like, let's say like best energy supplement for running. You know what? That's so broad. That might actually be the keyword we want to go with. And look at that. It covers a lot of these. So I think this will kind of set the stage for a lot of our knowledge centers. So let's take this one. Let's drop that one on there. Boom. Best energy gummies for best energy supplements for running. A bit more broad, but you can see what we're doing here. We're testing a lot. Maybe the best pages work best. If they do, we'll see it. Maybe they don't. Maybe these work better. We'll also see that. So it's like a micro test inside of testing Shopwell articles versus the other ones. So there's a lot kind of going on here that we're going to learn from this information, because that's the biggest goal. Your very first content plan should be focused on learning information, seeing what Google's going to give you once you get all this content posted, and it's going to go really, really far. Cool. So we got a lot of slots here for knowledge centers. Let's go pull a lot of their ingredients. So let's go back to their page here. Let's look at what they got going on. Dosing, yerba mate, organic yerba mate. That's probably got killer keyword volume. We're going to learn about that later. What is organic yerba mate? Boom, done. What is yerba mate? We'll leave it at that, so it's more broad. Okay, and let's keep going. Ingredients, boom, here we go. Amino acids. Okay, full supplement panel. Okay, let's look at. Ooh, actually, there's a couple here that are critical. CBG, CBD, and THC. We should actually still cover these, but we can do that here. Which I love these pages because they rank very, very well. What is THC? What is CBD? What is CBN? And I think the other one that we're also going to use here is CBG. Boom, we're going to use that one instead. And are they doing anything else in here that might be interesting? Electrolytes. We'll just call that in general, and maybe also amino acids. So let's go back to here. Let's do what is THC, CBD. What was that one again? Actually, it looks like it was CBG, which is a very good one to rank for, having ranked for that on quite a few sites myself. What is CBG? Perfect. And then we'll do another one, which again is what are electrolytes. Again, very basic, but I think it's going to go a very long way. I might have misspelled that. Let me just double check. So what are electrolytes? Okay, perfect. Boom. So easy enough. So all of these articles are going to support these articles, which are going to support these articles. And that's what we're also going to be kind of playing on, is really pushing this major core strategy here and what we can do. So one thing we're missing out are the runners. So running for beginners especially. I think that there's a lot of angles we can play here. So let's look at like beginning running tips, which actually we looked at Runner's World, if you remember correctly. We used Ahrefs for that. Let's actually switch over now and go back to Ahrefs, but technically you could start and basically do like beginning runners, running plan, running program, running tips. You can really kind of build it out that way. Let's see if, yeah, so boom, of course it's Runner's World, of course. So they actually have two there. So, but let's do this in Ahrefs. Let's go ahead and switch over just so I can show you guys how that we can really kind of scale this up super, super quickly. So we go to Runner's World. Boom, drop it in the Site Explorer. Again, we'll have more on how to use Ahrefs in a future lesson, and we'll go really deep into this, but just for now, and we're gonna go back to their top pages, and we looked at this earlier, but I'm pretty sure this had, what was it? I think it was, you know what? I'll just check it again really quick. So we go to Site Explorer, because I'm looking for the URL path that's gonna help us identify all those really good articles, the juicy articles that we wanna cover. And I think it was under training and health and injuries. So training and injuries. So let's go back to this one, and we're gonna make sure we can show everything. We're gonna URL training. So the URL should have training or should have injuries in it. Any rule, apply. And now we're gonna look at all the organic pages sorted top to bottom by highest traffic to lowest traffic organically, which again, all this is public information. We're not doing anything crazy here. And this should actually help us see it. So I think I accidentally clicked on something. So we go back. Let me let it reload. But basically, we should be able to see exactly what these pages are, what's driving them. Okay, boom. So we talked about this one. This one's useless. But this one, 6-week beginner 5K schedule, which the main keyword there is couch to 5K. So we're going to do that. We're going to do couch to 5K. We're going to do how to train for a half marathon. I don't want to necessarily get into marathon training yet, because again, we're really kind of targeting these beginning people. So we're going to go there. So we go back to this plan. I got this nice little set here. and we're going to do couch to 5K. To 5K, tips from the experts. Actually, sorry, this is a keyword, not the title, so that's fine. Couch to 5K, and we're going to do how to train for a half marathon. That's, again, pretty basic, but that could be pretty great. And probably also how to start running. And then, of course, some others, runners up that we could easily use, runner up, pun intended, would be tempo run, average running speed, fartlek run, etc. So these are other really good examples. Now we can also start putting these into hrefs and get an idea of the keyword difficulty and of the volume, and if there's anything we should avoid or anything that we should kind of lean into further. So, of course, you can do all of this as well by kind of going the other direction, which I'm going to show you in a second. But look at these. These are beauties. Wow, almost everything actually had volume here. So that's awesome. So basically we would import this and we would look at this, of course, and look at and tell kind of like what we have. We have a lot of, again, higher difficulty ones, but these are in the knowledge centers, which is totally fine. That's where they should be. But the lower difficulty ones are in the shoppable articles, which is exactly what we want, because those are going to rank and those are going to get volume and those are going to get sales, because they're basically like selling landing pages because they're collection pages. So that's absolutely perfect. The blogs are kind of in the middle of difficulty. So honestly, this is exactly the type of content plan that I would want to see. We would, of course, just need to put this on the page as well, just so we can get like a really good idea of, you know, what we're looking at here and kind of how we're tracking it, but we can do that later. So I'll just tuck that down there. So that would go into these two columns here for keyword difficulty, and search volume, or just volume is what we call it right there, which we talked about what that is in a previous lesson. But basically keyword difficulty is like the supply side of supply and demand for these keywords, meaning it's like how many competitors are in the market, how much supply is out there. And that'll help you know, if you can actually compete as a newer website or as off-field, which if we look at off-field actually, in here, we can get an idea of their domain rating and how well they are doing. So 26, so we shouldn't really have an issue. So let's take a look at that. So if they have a 26 domain rating, we're probably going to get on like the second or third page on this type of keyword. For example, what is CBG? Urban Mod Table will probably end up on like the 6th page or something. How to start running though, now we're talking, we'll probably be on the 2nd page. But for these, we could probably rank on the 1st page, assuming that we nail the content right, which I'm going to cover in the future lesson. So just if I had to make estimates of where we're going to land, like we'll be lucky to land on the 8th page on some of these, basically, especially this early on with a limited THC content. Couch to 5K, that's also a brand name, I believe, so that'll be pretty tough. But, I think, again, if we do all the other content right, we should probably land on like the 4th page. Whenever I'm saying this, I mean like you're clicking. So if I Google couch to 5K, for example, and I'm basically clicking, this would be like scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, boom, like 4th page or 5th page, which again, no one's going to, but this data is critical to help us understand what we're doing right and what's moving the right direction. So, and then again, the other way you can really do this, of course, as well, is by just dropping these different keyword ideas that you learned from Google in general, just into the Keyword Explorer on Ahrefs, and start kind of going through the motions here. So also to kind of help you understand, so we'd basically be search suggestions, for example, and we can see a bunch of other keywords that are related to couch to 5K. Or we can switch it up, depending on how this loads, and maybe do like training for a 5K, tips to train for a 5K. So obviously they're using a lot of like couch to 5K planning, and a lot of it has high difficulty, but that's actually interesting. So I would actually create a couch to 5K PDF downloadable asset to get people to sign up for the newsletter, and that could be a pretty valuable way to do it. Low difficulty, high volume, it's kind of a banger. The other thing to do it is like 5K training plan. Boom, you put that in there. Also look at search suggestions, and we should see all kinds of good stuff here that's much lower difficulty. 5K to 10K plan, 5K training plan intermediate. How long does it take for it to train for a 5K? So like these are pretty good keywords within our kind of like level of what I know we can rank for pretty easily. So this is how you can basically build this level of a plan just by using tools or by not using tools. And then all you have to do at that point is just start drafting the content, which I'm going to show you in the next lesson. And ultimately, and you can use our tools to do it and start writing it. And then you basically just get it posted, which I'm also going to show you how to do as effectively as possible. So cool. Guys, here we go. We just made our first content plan together. I think you get the idea, but we're basically combining all the things we've learned in the previous lessons and basically creating this for you. Now, it's really important to note that we should also continue to do this out for future sections. So like, for example, you should probably do like, I don't know, like 15 of each of these, 15 Shopwell articles, 15 blogs, 15 knowledge centers. And that way you at least have an angle you're going to go for. So for example, here's another content plan we created for this liposomal company. That's one of our newer clients, Sunny Within. They're amazing products, by the way. And they have like supplements with different unique way to kind of deliver it, and is package these gels basically that basically target different main intents. So immunity, longevity, cognitive, sleep, etc. So of course I had my team go through and basically build this. And so even though we just kicked off with them, we know exactly where we want to go with every single month in the near future, based on volume, based on difficulty, based on what we know we can rank for. Again, we're skewing towards lower difficulty here because they're a brand new site, like a 0 domain rating. But all this stuff is super critical. Even though we know that this is going to evolve and change, we at least have a plan and know exactly where to go and how to get there. And that plan is going to continue to evolve as we see the metrics pour in. Because, like, for example, once we get month 1 done and posted, we'll be able to see that maybe, for example, let's look at this. Maybe, for example, glutathione, that actually ranks much better than anything else does, because we're going to see it because this page is going to pop and this page is going to pop. And we're going to see that whenever we actually go into Ahrefs or in Google Search Console and we look at your individual independent pages. You can throw all those URLs in there and you'll literally be able to see how these pages are performing. You'll be able to watch them go up and go down and change and get picked up and ultimately pop and basically get indexed. You're going to be able to see all this information. And that's what I mean by we know we're going to be on the right track. And I've got a future lesson on that coming up. But important to note. And so, yeah, so basically within this content plan, we're going to be able to learn what's working best. And not only what concepts are working best, what topics, but also what areas of the site is Google going to be more apt to rank. Like, for example, we know that knowledge centers and blogs are also on the blog section of a Shopify website. So maybe that ranks better than the collection pages do because they're a newer site. But I guarantee you, if you're an established brand, your collection pages will rank better. But we'll get into that in a future lesson. So this kind of gives you the full idea of a content plan in a nutshell, but this is what you're shooting for. You're shooting for a full plan, and then you evolve the plan based on what you see is working. Really, really important to note. So cool. And also, guys, if you just want us to do this for you, just book a meeting, and we'll easily do this for you, even on the very first time we meet. We'll pull all this information together, and we'll just run this without issue at all, and then pitch you on it and see what you think of the plan. And at least you will walk away, and we'll send you this plan just so you have it. So completely free. Book a meeting. More than happy to talk soon. Awesome, guys. Hope this was helpful. See you in the next lesson.